Hey everyone, I'm Sebastian. This is Don with Performance Place. We're in Huntington Beach, California, and we're locally world famous, as we always say.
Locally world famous.
Locally world famous chiropractors. I know you'll probably think, like someone else commented, they said, "You're not world famous." I know, I said locally. So, what we're going to cover today is plantar fasciitis and some of the best treatments, exercises, or self-treatments, exercises and stretches that you guys can do from home. So we see plantar fasciitis is a really common thing. What is plantar fasciitis?
Actual plantar fasciitis is, in simple terms, I would say disruption, tear, or inflammation of the band on the bottom of the foot. There's a ligament that runs from your heel to your toes, and it helps support the arch of the foot, and sometimes that support is too much and it starts to give out and you start to feel pain in that area.
Yep, that's pretty accurate. So a lot of times too, like just from this observational perspective, like we usually like to think about, even though there's foot pain, it does not mean you have plantar fasciitis, and there's other things that imaging is helpful but not always needed. But I would say probably about half the reasons why you guys have foot pain is not actually related to the plantar fascia, it's other things. And so one thing to consider, if you are dealing with real plantar fasciitis, usually it'll be swollen. It'll be visibly swollen and boggy in this area down into here. I know you do hear about the first step in the morning is excruciating, and after sitting for a period of time it also becomes painful, the first step. I'd say yeah, but I think it's fairly vague because other things can create that same type of foot presentation too, which we can cover later in the video as well. But we're going to stick on the topic of plantar fasciitis, the actual plantar fasciitis. Again, you don't need an image to confirm it. So what do you want to do first?
Start local in the foot.
Okay.
Kind of work our way up, because we're talking about if you just focus on the foot and the plantar fascia itself, you may be setting yourself up for failure. So work your way up the leg a little bit more and it might help you out.
Okay. You talking about?
Did I grab a lacrosse ball?
No,
I didn't.
I can get one. I see a baseball.
Okay. Since you're barefoot, you do it.
You got to be the camera person
All
then.
right.
Okay.
I grabbed Bob's foot like he was going to help me.
So let's go. Yeah, it's on follow focus. We can do that. Okay. So, all right. Sorry guys, we're not a professional videography team, so we're gonna do our best with this. So a baseball, lacrosse ball. At least if you're sitting at a desk, you can use this, and if no one's looking around, you can take your work shoe off and maybe hopefully, you know how those like dress socks always stink? Yeah. Hopefully you're wearing like a nice cotton sock, and just kind of roll about the foot. Now you might find an area that it's actually pretty tender towards the heel here, because they say the plantar fascia is kind of like it's at the heel point that most people have it. If it's painful there, I would just kind of stay away and go to the other spots. Just spend about a minute just kind of rolling. You can put some pretty firm pressure into it, and that won't be necessarily a bad thing. It might not be bad to do the other side, and you might start to really enjoy being at work.
Put your foot, stop in one spot, and then bring your toes towards you. That's like a pin and stretch method too. Pin.
Like this?
Yeah, pin and stretch. Yep.
That's a good idea. Okay, we're going to do that.
And then you can work your way into the calf with that same thing. If you want to do it on the table, you can.
Yeah, I can do that. Okay. So, on the table here, right in this area, there's more tendon, so you don't really work too much into here, although it is closer to the plantar fascia. We kind of stay within this kind of bulky area here. Sometimes being on something soft like a table like this doesn't give you enough really rigidity into the ball to get where you want to be, so you might have to put something firmer there like a book. And I like to go back and forth just because it's easier than trying to scoop my butt across the table. Okay, if you're at work, maybe find another chair. Okay, or you might have to take a break and do it on the floor. All right, an important point with this is that if you kind of test with your toes, if you go like this, and putting your toes down makes your plantar fascia feel better, but drawing it backwards while keeping your knee straight makes it worse, then I would consider just keep the foot loose when you do this. I wouldn't be too aggressive about it because it could be something else too. So that's an easy way to use a baseball. You can do it again. Do it at work. Take little breaks. You have trouble with that camera there.
We're good. We're chilling.
Oh, good. All right.
Really
Perfect.
challenges my squat form.
Yeah, it does. It's like you're holding a mason jar of expensive moonshine, and it's full. So that's number one. That was your choice, right?
Yeah.
Number two, I'd say I get to be camera person on this. Then probably is there's like we call it a triplanar calf stretch. But really, when we're addressing the plantar fascia, we have to consider the ankle as well as the other joints of the ankle that do lots of movements. And so the foot is designed to be stable. The plantar fascia is designed to actually not really stretch too much at all, so we don't want to beat it up all the time. We want to give it a chance to recover. So we're going to use the ankle as a driver for movement, the wall as a driver for movement to the ankle. So let's go ahead and move this table a tad, and this time we go up onto this wall here. Okay, you want to explain this one, Don?
Yeah. So basically, what you want to do is you come to a wall and you just want to put your toes up on the wall like this. A nice little extra stretch that you can get is just kind of bend the knee like so. And then just first head for pointing your knee towards your second toe. Between your big and second toe. And you can hold for about 30 seconds if you like to. But the different directions we want to challenge in the calf is also by maybe heading towards your pinky toe and then heading past your big toe. So you'll see that these are all different directions that we can try in this stretch as well. A different way too, if I was barefoot.
Show me to that pinky toe again. I missed that
one.
one.
The pinky toe one?
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, so I'll show you all three. So we'll go directly in the middle of the foot, pinky toe. That feels really good actually. And then past the big toe. And you'll feel that stretch in all different directions. Another way too, if you're barefoot that you can do this, is come to like an edge of a wall and do just your big toe stretch. And then you can do all the other toes and a stretch.
I like it.
Just a bunch of different ways that you can find stretches in that movement.
How long would you hold those stretches?
I would hold for about 30 seconds to a minute. 30 seconds is probably a little more likely for some people. Because a lot of people, it's like finding the time to stretch is hard. So you can do that. You can do that seated. Put your foot on a wall somewhere and do it. You can do it standing during your break, but holding for 30 seconds is probably the best.
And maybe doing, I prefer it, I usually tell people to do multiple reps throughout the day. If your plantar fascia got that way, it's probably because something wasn't really kind of moving well enough, so you want to encourage that area to move frequently throughout the day. Maybe every couple hours, just do about 10 stretches or so, or do like a couple 30-second holds like Don was saying.
Well, we did a soft tissue release. We did a stretch. How about an exercise?
An exercise? I like single foot stance. Or we can first cue that from the floor. We can talk about it from the floor. Probably you want to be the camera person on this because I got bare feet. So now when we're addressing the foot from I'll crouch down just so we can see stuff. It's easiest to rehab the foot when you don't have shoes on. Okay, and that goes for a lot of different parts of the body, mainly because the bottom of the foot has lots of sensory receptors and it tells your brain where it's at in space. And so you'll notice that just first off, observe your foot. You might notice that you have some hammer toes. The hammer toes is a sign that things have been kind of working a little bit hard with the muscles that only do the toes. And we want to really work on improving the arches. And so there's an outer arch, there's an inner arch, and there's an arch right here too. And so if you kind of see those knuckles right there, those things will kind of pucker up a little bit when you really have to stick to the floor. So I don't want you to have to scrunch up your foot or anything, but I want you to think about this point, the outer ball of the foot, and the back ball of the foot, or the heel of the foot, all grounded through the floor at all times. And what we're going to do is we're going to use that tripod foot to help us out with kind of puckering up the foot or doming it when we're doing a single leg stance. All right, you could do this from a seated position too, but I find that people tend to grab too much with their toes when they're doing that. So let's go ahead and pan up and I'll show you what I mean. This one's just exhausting for the foot in a good way. And so all we got to do is just get a little athletic. So you just get a little athletic, okay? And then and take this foot away. If you're having a balance issue, you just kind of be by something higher. You okay there?
Yeah.
Just be by something higher. and you start reaching like you're actually trying to grab things off of like a shelf. Like imagine like there's a shelf of food right there, and you're like, I need some butter, and I need some cantaloupe, and I need some bread, and like that, okay? And so as you notice, there's a shelf, and the further you get away from yourself, the forward one, like the further you gotta reach, okay? And so you're gonna notice your butt cheek working and everything. But what we don't want is, if we look at the foot, we don't wanna see this happening, okay? Because this will make the plantar fascia overwork. We wanna ground the 3 parts of the foot and make it so the arches actually do their job, so the plantar fascia doesn't have to. I'll show you from the side real quickly just to hey, here's my shelf. Cool. So I need some butter and some cantaloupe and some bread and some honeydew. And so that's a basic way to do foot training. And a lot of you maybe have heard that, hey, you're pretty good with distance here.
I think so. I'm a terrible camera person.
A lot of you might be looking on YouTube for different various foot specific exercises. Usually the foot series of smearing peanut butter and like scrunching towels, like they're good, but also they're intended for very acute cases. And so if you're able to walk, then you should be doing something more advanced. There's no point in going back and teaching you basic math if you already know calculus and you're struggling in calculus. So we kind of want to make rehab hard enough so it challenges your body, and we don't have to start you back from ground zero again.
Nicely said.
Where are we going to go from here?
I think that was a good amount.
Oh, what about we talked about we're gonna talk about what if it's not from the foot.
Oh, what if you've been focusing on your foot for a really long time now? You've been doing all these different things, calf stretches. You've been taking all of the lower part of your leg into account, and it's just not getting better. I think there's something else that we need to consider then, because there is. I don't want to go into too much detail. Maybe it's a different video, but there's a huge nerve that you guys maybe have heard of, the sciatic nerve. Comes out of the low back, comes down the booty cheek, comes down into the hamstring, down the calf, and under to the bottom of the foot. And so if we're only focusing there and it's not getting better, maybe we need to follow it up the chain a little bit and see if there's something else a little more serious going on. Not necessarily more serious, but something different going on.
Yeah, there's also there's another nerve on the inner part of the foot if you're experiencing inner heel pain, and that's the medial calcaneal nerve. And that one's of interest too. Again, you just follow up where it came from. And what do you think they would search on our channel for that? By the way, you can go to our channel. There's a search bar with all the videos we've ever made. Just type in sciatica. Mm-hmm. Sciatica. I think sciatica. I think we've probably made one by now about sciatica, and that'll kind of address how we address these things from more of a spinal component, a nerve component, versus just a local foot structure like plantar fascia.
Yeah. Keep in mind, you don't have to have back pain or butt pain or hamstring pain for that nerve to be contributing to that area as well.
But it doesn't feel like sciatica, Dawn.
Everybody's different.
So, go search that video. It's the classic sciatica presentation, or nerve reason for pain sensation of stabbing, shooting, electricity, numbness. Like those are classic, but it can be a dull ache, it can be a throb, it can be a pinpoint, it can be the first step in the morning. It can be worse when you're barefoot, when you're walking on wood floors. Same kind of thing. It can appear exactly the same as your plantar fascia stuff you've been doing on Dr. Google. So subscribe to our channel. There's a little link in the corner, a little circle that you should click on, and you're going to get all these videos as a release. We do about one every couple days, or so about 2 times a week. And we look forward to seeing what you guys comment at the bottom about what exercise worked best for you. Again, if you're struggling with this and you're local to us, just come on in person. We're in Huntington Beach. I think we do a very good job, and we're honest about what we can deliver. And if you're not local, what can they do?
Email us.
Okay.
Best bet is to email us at info@p2sportscare.com, and we have just an exhaustive amount of ways that we can help people who can't necessarily come and see us in clinic. We've been working on this a lot lately, and we are hoping that at this point now we have something that we can offer for everyone to meet you guys where you're at. So if that's something you're interested in, just shoot us an email. We'd love to chat with you.
Cool. See you guys next time.